In the first video, we considered measuring development on a global scale and realized that if we look at the money side, it is a very challenging task. In this video, I'd like us to think about need and want and how we can resolve the issue if we think in terms of systems. In class, some of you brought up the pyramid of needs by Maslow, and we will be focusing on the bottom level of the pyramid. The bottom level represents basic necessities. In other words, if you don't have these things, you will die. So you describe the bottom level as being the only real needs that someone has, and meaning that the other levels are only wants, so something we can control better. It also sounded like for you the other levels where we as people can reduce our impact on others, so other people, as well as on the environment. I like the way you're using the pyramid of needs to explain the difference between needs and wants, but I just wanted to point out that originally the pyramid of needs is the basis for the theory about motivation, which aims at explaining why we do what we do, right? So what's the motivation behind our actions? But again, I like how it's been used in class to differentiate, to make a difference between needs and wants. At the bottom level of the pyramids, you find the physiological needs. The physiological needs include food, water, shelter or house, sleep, warmth, and air. As you can see, if you do not have these, you will probably not be able to survive. So if we look at the bottom level and we go along with your line of thinking saying that these are our only real needs, everything else are wants, well, I will say that let's focus on the first two. How we eat and how we use water also have a huge impact on the world we live in. So I think that yes, there are needs, but there are needs that do not justify that we do whatever. They are needs that we should provide for in a thoughtful way. Actually, in the first semester, we talked about food, water, and energy, the connection between food, water, and energy, and we did realize how connected they are. I used the following symbolic representation to show their connection. And for instance, we saw that if we do not care about how much water we use, in Japan, this might not be such a big deal because we have a lot of freshwater supply, but it does impact our consumption of energy, and energy we don't have that much in Japan. We have to import almost everything from outside of Japan. These connections between energy, food, and water are great examples for what I call a system, and I'd like to explore this concept a little bit more with you. To start, I'll ask you a question. How do you get your water? I'm guessing that many of you, if not all of you, use bottled water, right? So if your answer was indeed a bottled water, so meaning PET bottle, well, I'd like you to pay close attention to see what kind of system you get into when you use a PET bottle. By the way, PET is a acronym for, and I will try to say it, so please forgive me if I don't say it right. So it's the acronym for polyethylene terephthalate or something like that. Sorry, my chemistry knowledge is not very fluent in terms of saying the names. And what that means, if you do a little research online, and which I did and found quite challenging to get to the bottom of what does that mean. Well, PET means basically that the bottle is made with petroleum and natural gas components, so oil, right? Oil in a solid or a gas form. So on the website, I posted the link to the video called What Really Happens to the Plastic You Throw Away. So please watch the video and answer the questions on the worksheet. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video called What Really Happens to the Plastic You Throw Away and that you could answer the questions. As far as I'm concerned, watching this video brought home the fact that the real need we all have is to realize that everything we do has an impact. By nature, we live in an interconnected system. We didn't need the internet for that. It is just a matter of looking how we depend on nature, on other people to get food, to get water, to get lodging. Right? So for me, this is the main point of this second video, is to make you realize, make you think about the fact that we are living in an interconnected system, and actually I would even say systems, right? Globalization, the internet, and all of that, I believe, have only made this system bigger. We live in an interconnected world, and I hope that by thinking in terms of system, you will see why I don't believe that recycling plastic or recycling in general is the best solution. So yes, recycling is not the best solution for me, and in the video I will highlight 2 points. They did say that to recycle plastic you need to wash it, which means for me use of water, and water is very precious, so I always worry about anything that needs to be washed to be reused. And on top of it, the recycled plastic needs to be melted, which means that you have to use energy. And being in Japan, in a country that has very little sources of energy, I also usually worry about using energy to recycle. I have other issues connected to recycling, and hopefully you will have your own so that we can share them during our class discussion. So do I have a better solution? Yes, I do. It's not just me, and it's to refuse. Refuse plastic. Say no when you are offered plastic at the supermarket. Say no to products that are wrapped with way too much plastic. So refuse plastic and create as little waste as possible. There's a family that I'd like to introduce to you, the Johnson family, and well, they managed to live with zero waste, so it's called the zero waste lifestyle. How do you do it? Well, I'd like you to watch the following video. Also, please remember to check out the worksheet to fill out the missing information. Thank you.
I'm Bea Johnson, I'm 36 and I strive to live a zero waste lifestyle. Zero waste means reduce first, reuse second, and recycle last. What drives me and my husband is our kids' future. It all started really about 5 years ago. Our house was 3,000 square feet back then. We decided to downsize, and our current house is 1,400 square feet.
As a part of the process of moving and downsizing, we had to make choices. I'm Scott Johnson, I'm 47, and I'm Bea's husband. Bea was doing a lot of the research, she was figuring out what would it take to live a zero-waste lifestyle, and before I knew it, it was happening to us.
Once you start decluttering your home, it kind of becomes addicting. You want to keep doing it. I actually find that my creativity is being fed by finding alternatives for zero waste. In our previous home, we'd fill a huge can of trash once a week. This is how much trash we've collected in 4 months. My husband was really worried at first that zero waste was going to be too expensive, but I was able to show him that zero waste is actually a great thing for your wallet.
By focusing on bulk shopping or the farmer's market, we're actually cutting expenses out of our daily budget on the order of 10 to 15%.
We buy the conditioner and shampoo in bulk. We bring our bottles to refill. These are our cleaning products. This is a homemade cleaner that we made just with vinegar and Castile soap. And we use microfiber cloths to clean everything. We use compostable toothbrushes and we make our own tooth powder. And instead of cotton balls, we use reusable cotton pads. We buy milk in a reusable bottle and store veggies in laundry mesh bags instead of plastic bags. I realized that I could push it yet even a little further by just also bringing my own jars to the store. I bring one jar for meat, one for fish, one for cheese, and one for deli.
We take the old food scraps from the kitchen, any of the fruits and vegetables, and put them into this compost. It's basically a compost that uses red worms to process and decompose all the old food scraps.
I've seen other groups of people trying to do zero waste. In our case, we got attached to doing it and we could not picture going back to the way we used to live. We feel so much better and so much happier that I just wish everyone could feel this way. I don't remember the last time I took out the trash.
So for me, between what the Johnson family does and my own idea of refusing, I would say that zero waste is actually 4 R's: refuse, reduce, reuse, and ultimately recycle. In the following few slides, you will find the answers to the missing information of your worksheet, so please check out your notes and if you could get everything right. I would like to conclude this video by saying that I am aware that zero waste may feel a bit extreme, but I am trying to do it myself. In Japan it's pretty challenging as I don't have access to farmers market and bulk shopping, and everything is wrapped in plastic here. But besides these drawbacks, I can say that being careful when I buy, making sure that there is as little packaging as possible, and obviously not buying things that I don't need, has made my waste production go down quite dramatically. And on top of it, I am lucky I live near a recycling center where I can bring just about everything I do produce in terms of waste. So yes, zero waste might be a bit extreme, but I believe that it's a great way to limit our impact on others in the system, and others include the environment. So I hope that in terms of system thinking, you will keep in mind that everything we do has an impact, and that by nature we live in an interconnected system. Globalization is just a word to make that system bigger. This is the end of the flipped activities for week 4. Thank you very much. In the next slide, you will see the references for this week.